Questions on malicious code. Learn by questions and answering. Test yourself by answering the questions. Question number 1. What is the general term for unanticipated or undesired effects in programs or program parts caused by an agent intent on damage? A. Adware. B. Spyware. C. Malicious code. D. Backdoor programs. The answer is C. Malicious code. Malicious code, also known as malware, is a broad term that encompasses any software or code designed to harm or exploit computer systems, networks, or users. It's specifically characterized by its intent to cause damage, as opposed to unintentional errors or bugs. Adware, spyware, and backdoor programs are all specific types of malicious code. Adware is designed to display unwanted advertisements. Spyware secretly collects information about users without their consent. Backdoor programs create a secret entry point into a system for unauthorized access. Malicious code can have a wide range of harmful effects, including stealing sensitive information, for example, passwords, credit card numbers, deleting or corrupting files, disrupting computer operations, taking control of systems remotely. It's crucial to protect yourself against malicious code by using security software, keeping your software up to date, and practicing safe online habits. Question number 2. Which type of malicious code attaches itself to another program and copies itself to other programs? A. Worm. B. Trojan horse. C. Logic bomb. D. Virus. The answer is D. Virus. Here's why the other options are incorrect. A. Worm. Worms spread independently through networks, not by attaching to other programs. B. Trojan horse. Trojan horses disguise themselves as legitimate programs, but they don't typically replicate like viruses. C. Logic bomb. A logic bomb is a type of malware that activates when certain conditions are met, but it doesn't replicate itself. Key characteristics of viruses that distinguish them from other malware. Self-replication. They have the ability to create copies of themselves, enabling them to spread to other programs and files. Attachment. They attach themselves to existing executable files or programs, often corrupting or modifying them in the process. Activation. They typically activate when the infected program is run, allowing them to spread further. Destructive capabilities. They can cause a range of damage, from deleting files to stealing personal information to disrupting system operations. Common ways viruses spread. Email attachments. Opening infected attachments can trigger the virus to execute. Downloaded files. Downloading files from unreliable sources can lead to virus infection. Removable media. Sharing files via USB drives or other removable media can transfer viruses. Network vulnerabilities. Exploiting weaknesses in networks can allow viruses to spread from one device to another. Protecting yourself from viruses. Install reputable antivirus software. Keep it updated to detect and remove viruses. Be cautious about downloading files. Only download from trusted sources. Scan all downloaded files with antivirus software before opening them. Be wary of email attachments, even from known senders, as they could be infected. Keep your operating system and software up to date. Patches often address security vulnerabilities that viruses can exploit. Use a firewall. Block unauthorized access to your computer. Back up your data regularly. In case of a virus infection, you can restore your files. Question number 3. What is a logic bomb's trigger condition based on? A. File modification. B. Time or date. C. User authentication. D. Network activity. The answer is B. Time or date. Logic bombs are designed to activate when a specific date or time is reached, often leading to malicious actions. They can be embedded within legitimate software or disguised as harmless files, making them difficult to detect until they detonate. Here's why the other options are typically not trigger conditions for logic bombs. A. File modification. While logic bombs can be triggered by changes to specific files, this is less common than time-based triggers. C. User authentication. Logic bombs typically don't require user interaction to activate, as they're designed to operate independently. D. Network activity. Network events can initiate other types of malware, but logic bombs primarily rely on time-based triggers. Examples of how logic bombs can be used: destructive actions, deleting files, corrupting data, or crashing systems on a specific date. Extortion. Threatening to damage systems unless a ransom is paid by a certain time. Sabotage. Disrupting operations or causing financial losses at a critical moment. Protecting against logic bombs. Implement robust security measures. Regularly scan for malware, use firewalls, and keep systems updated. Monitor for suspicious activity. Be alert for unusual system behavior or unauthorized changes to files. Control access to sensitive systems. Restrict privileges, and enforce strong password policies. Practice good data backups. Ensure you can recover from a logic bomb attack. Raise awareness. Educate employees about the dangers of logic bombs and how to recognize potential threats. Question number 4. What is a feature that allows access to a program other than through normal channels? A. Logic bomb. B. Trapdoor or backdoor. C. Worm. D. Trojan horse. The answer is B. Trapdoor or backdoor. Here's a more detailed explanation of trapdoors, backdoors, and why the other options are incorrect. Trapdoors or backdoors. Purpose: secretly embedded within software or systems, providing unauthorized access and control. Intent: can be intentionally created by developers for legitimate purposes, for example, troubleshooting, but often exploited by attackers for malicious intent. Mechanism: circumvent normal authentication and security measures, allowing direct access to sensitive functions or data. Examples: hidden logins, hard-coded passwords, undocumented commands, remote access tools. Why the other options are incorrect. Logic bomb: a malicious code that activates when certain conditions are met, often causing damage or disruption, not designed for unauthorized access. Worm: self-replicating malware that spreads independently through networks, not focused on access but on propagation. Trojan horse: malicious software disguised as legitimate software, tricking users into installing it, often used to deliver backdoors but not the backdoor itself. Risks of trapdoors, backdoors: unauthorized access. Attackers can gain control of systems and steal sensitive data. Installation of malware. Backdoors can be used to install other malware such as ransomware or spyware. Remote control. Attackers can remotely control systems and launch attacks from within. Protection against trapdoors, backdoors. Obtain software from trusted sources. Avoid downloading from untrusted websites or third-party app stores. Review code carefully. Inspect code for suspicious functions or undocumented access points. Implement strong access controls. Enforce strict authentication and authorization policies. Regularly scan for malware. Use updated antivirus and anti-malware software. Keep systems patched. Install security updates promptly to address vulnerabilities. Monitor system activity. Look for unusual behavior that could indicate unauthorized access. Question number 5. Which virus type is implemented within a formatted document, such as a written document or a spreadsheet? A. Resident virus. B. Document virus. C. Transient virus. D. Overwriting virus. The answer is B. Trapdoor or backdoor. Here's a more detailed explanation of trapdoors or backdoors and why the other options are incorrect. Trapdoors or backdoors. Purpose: secretly embedded within software or systems, providing unauthorized access and control. Intent: can be intentionally created by developers for legitimate purposes, for example, troubleshooting, but often exploited by attackers for malicious intent. Mechanism: circumvent normal authentication and security measures, allowing direct access to sensitive functions or data. Examples: hidden logins, hard-coded passwords, undocumented commands, remote access tools. Why the other options are incorrect. Logic bomb: a malicious code that activates when certain conditions are met, often causing damage or disruption, not designed for unauthorized access. Worm: self-replicating malware that spreads independently through networks, not focused on access but on propagation. Trojan horse. Malicious software disguised as legitimate software, tricking users into installing it, often used to deliver backdoors but not the backdoor itself. Risks of trapdoors, backdoors, unauthorized access. Attackers can gain control of systems and steal sensitive data. Installation of malware. Backdoors can be used to install other malware such as ransomware or spyware. Remote control. Attackers can remotely control systems and launch attacks from within. Protection against trapdoors, backdoors. Obtain software from trusted sources. Avoid downloading from untrusted websites or third-party app stores. Review code carefully. Inspect code for suspicious functions or undocumented access points. Implement strong access controls. Enforce strict authentication and authorization policies. Regularly scan for malware. Use updated antivirus and anti-malware software. Keep systems patched. Install security updates promptly to address vulnerabilities. Monitor system activity. Look for unusual behavior that could indicate unauthorized access. Question number 6. What is the purpose of a virus scanner in detecting viruses? A. Execute infected code. B. Monitor execution for virus signatures. C. Create new viruses. D. Deactivate existing viruses. The answer is B. Monitor execution for virus signatures. Here's a breakdown of how virus scanners work to detect and protect against viruses. Signature database. They maintain a database of known virus signatures, which are unique patterns of code that identify specific viruses. File scanning. When you initiate a scan, the virus scanner examines files on your computer, comparing their code to the signatures in the database. Detection. If a file's code matches a virus signature, the scanner alerts you to the potential infection. Actions. You can then choose to quarantine the infected file to prevent it from spreading, delete it, or in some cases attempt to repair it. Real-time protection. Many virus scanners also offer real-time protection, which continuously monitors file activity and blocks any attempts to execute known viruses. Key points to remember. Virus scanners are essential for protecting your computer from viruses, but they're not foolproof. New viruses emerge constantly, so it's crucial to keep your virus scanner updated with the latest signatures. Practice safe computing habits to further reduce your risk of infection, such as only download files from trusted sources. Be cautious about opening email attachments. Keep your operating system and software updated. Use strong passwords and change them regularly. Question number 7. Why do virus writers often attach viruses to resident code? A. To slow down the system. B. To avoid detection by antivirus software. C. To target specific programs. D. To reduce the spread of infection. The answer is B. To avoid detection by antivirus software. Here's a more detailed explanation. Resident code. Persistent nature. It remains active in memory even after the initial program is closed, becoming part of the operating system's core processes. Frequent execution. It's executed regularly, increasing the chances of the virus's code being activated. Enhanced stealth. It can blend in with legitimate system processes, making it more difficult for antivirus software to detect. How attaching to resident code helps viruses evade detection. Masking activity. The virus can disguise its actions as normal system functions, making them less suspicious. Intercepting scans. It might intercept antivirus scans and hide infected files or processes. Disabling protection. In some cases, it can even disable or interfere with antivirus software's operations. Other reasons why virus writers attach to resident code. Increased persistence. The virus can remain active even after system reboots, making it harder to remove. Wider access. It can gain access to a broader range of system resources and data. Potential for greater damage. It can potentially cause more extensive harm to the system or steal more sensitive information. Protecting against resident viruses. Use a reputable antivirus with real-time protection. It can monitor for suspicious activity in memory and block potential threats. Keep antivirus definitions updated. Ensure it has the latest signatures to detect even newly released viruses. Be cautious about downloads and attachments. Avoid downloading from untrusted sources and opening suspicious files. Keep operating system and software up to date. Patches often address vulnerabilities that viruses can exploit. Consider using additional security measures. Employ firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and other tools to enhance protection. Question number 8. Which type of malicious code disguises itself as a legitimate program or file to deceive users? A. Worm. B. Trojan horse. C. Spyware. D. Rootkit. The answer is B. Trojan horse. Here's a breakdown of why the other options are incorrect. Worms spread independently without user interaction, typically exploiting vulnerabilities in networks or systems. Spyware covertly gathers information about a user's activities, often without their knowledge or consent. Rootkits are designed to gain deep-level control over a system, often hiding themselves and other malware from detection. Trojan horses are particularly dangerous because they rely on deception to gain access to systems. They often masquerade as harmless files or programs, such as games, music files, or software updates. Once a user unwittingly downloads and executes a Trojan horse, it can unleash a variety of malicious actions, such as stealing personal information, for example passwords, credit card numbers, installing other malware, for example viruses, ransomware, creating backdoors for remote access, launching denial-of-service attacks, deleting or corrupting files. To protect yourself from Trojan horses, follow these essential tips. Be cautious about downloading files from unknown sources. Only install software from trusted websites and developers. Scan all downloaded files with antivirus software before opening them. Keep your operating system and software up to date with the latest security patches. Be wary of email attachments, even from known senders. Use a firewall to block unauthorized access to your computer. Exercise caution when clicking on links in emails or websites. Question number 9. Which malicious code is designed to spread through a network by making copies of itself? A. Virus. B. Trojan horse. C. Spyware. D. Adware. The answer is A. Virus. Here's why the other options are incorrect. B. Trojan horse. While Trojan horses can spread through a network, they typically rely on user interaction to do so, such as clicking on a malicious link or opening an infected attachment. They don't inherently replicate themselves like viruses do. See spyware. Spyware focuses on gathering information about a user's activities without their knowledge, rather than actively spreading through a network. D. Adware. Adware is designed to display unwanted advertisements, but it doesn't typically replicate itself or spread through networks. Key characteristics of viruses that distinguish them from other malware. Self-replication. They have the ability to create copies of themselves, enabling them to spread rapidly through a network. Infection of files or programs. They attach themselves to existing files or programs, often corrupting or modifying them in the process. Triggered by user actions. They typically activate when a user opens an infected file or program, allowing them to spread further. Potentially destructive. They can cause a range of damage, from deleting files to stealing personal information to disrupting system operations. Common ways viruses spread. Email attachments. Opening infected attachments can trigger the virus to execute. Downloaded files. Downloading files from unreliable sources can lead to virus infection. Removable media. Sharing files via USB drives or other removable media can transfer viruses. Network vulnerabilities. Exploiting weaknesses in networks can allow viruses to spread from one device to another. Question number 10. What does a worm primarily rely on for spreading? A. User interaction. B. File attachments. C. Network connections. D. Email links. The answer to question number 10 is C. Network connections. Here's why the other options are incorrect. A. User interaction. While some worms might require some initial user interaction to spread, this isn't their primary method. Worms are designed to autonomously exploit network vulnerabilities and replicate across connected devices without additional user involvement. B. File attachments. Similar to user interaction, worms don't primarily rely on file attachments for propagation. They leverage network vulnerabilities to bypass file-based security measures and spread directly between devices. D. Email links. While infected email links can be a delivery method for worms, it's not their primary mechanism of spreading. Once they gain access to a device, worms leverage network connections to propagate further, not just within email systems. Network connections are the lifeblood of worms. They exploit various weaknesses in network protocols, operating systems, and network configurations to spread rapidly from one device to another. This includes vulnerabilities in shared resources, open ports, and misconfigured systems. Additionally, worms can even use infected devices to launch denial-of-service attacks to cripple networks and spread further. Question number 11. What is the primary objective of a virus writer in creating a virus with high-risk properties? A. Limited spread of infection. B. Ease of destruction. C. Machine and operating system independence. D. Spreading infection widely. The most likely primary objective of a virus writer in creating a virus with high-risk properties is D. Spreading infection widely. Here's why the other options are less likely. A. Limited spread of infection. Most virus writers wouldn't invest their time and effort into creating a virus that intentionally limits its spread. Widespread infection often translates to greater impact and potentially higher rewards for the attacker. B. Ease of destruction. While some viruses might be designed for quick execution and destruction, this wouldn't be considered a high-risk property. Highly risky viruses aim for long-term impact and sustained damage. C. Machine and operating system independence. While this might be a desirable feature for increased reach, it's not necessarily the primary objective. A widely spreading virus may not need to be completely platform agnostic to cause significant damage. By definition, high-risk viruses are designed to be highly infectious and damaging. This often involves exploiting critical vulnerabilities, targeting widespread vulnerabilities in popular operating systems or software to infect a large number of devices, self-replication and propagation, ability to replicate and spread quickly across networks or removable media, evasion techniques, utilizing techniques to avoid detection by antivirus software and security measures, destructive payloads, causing significant damage, such as data corruption, system crashes, or information theft. Therefore, spreading the infection widely and causing the most significant impact are the most likely motivations for creating a virus with high-risk properties. Question number 12. Which form of malicious code has a life that depends on the life of its host? A. Resident virus. The answer is B. Transient virus. Here's why. Transient viruses have a lifespan that is directly tied to the execution of their host program. They activate when the host program is run and cease to exist when the host program terminates. Resident viruses, on the other hand, embed themselves into memory and can remain active even after the host program closes. They can continue to infect other programs and perform malicious actions independently. Document viruses specifically target document files, for example Word, Excel, and spread when those files are opened or shared. Overwriting viruses completely overwrite the contents of infected files, often destroying the original data in the process. Key characteristics of transient viruses. Temporary existence. They only exist in memory while the host program is running. Activation upon host. Execution. They are triggered when the infected host program is launched. Infection spread during execution. They can infect other programs or files while the host program is active. Termination with host. They disappear from memory when the host program is closed. Common examples of transient viruses. File infectors. Attach themselves to executable files, exe.com, and activate when the file is run. Boot sector viruses. Infect the boot sector of a disk, loading themselves into memory when the computer starts up. Macro viruses. Target files containing macros, for example Word, Excel, and execute malicious code when the macros are triggered. Question number 13. What is a virus's signature important for in computer security? A. Creating infected code. B. Virus destruction. C. Virus detection. D. Virus activation. The answer is C. Virus detection. Here's other options are incorrect. A. Creating infected code. Virus signatures are not used to create infected code. They are used to identify and detect existing viruses. B. Virus destruction. While virus signatures can help identify infected files, they don't directly destroy the virus. Antivirus software uses various techniques to remove or quarantine the virus once detected. D. Virus activation. Virus signatures don't activate viruses. Viruses are activated by specific triggers, such as opening an infected file or running a program. What is a virus signature? It's a unique string of code that acts like a fingerprint for a specific virus. It's generated by security researchers who analyze the virus's code and identify its unique characteristics. Antivirus software uses these signatures as a reference to scan files and systems for known viruses. How virus signatures are used for detection. Scanning. Antivirus software scans files and programs, comparing their code to a database of virus signatures. Match detection. If a match is found, the antivirus software flags the file or program as infected. Action. The software takes appropriate action such as removing, quarantining, or repairing the infected file. Importance of virus signatures. Speed. Signature-based detection is often fast and efficient, allowing for quick identification of known viruses. Accuracy. It can accurately detect specific viruses based on their unique signatures. Database updates. Antivirus software regularly updates its signature database to defend against new and evolving threats. Limitations of virus signatures. New viruses. They can't detect viruses that don't yet have a signature in the database. Polymorphic viruses. These viruses can change their code to evade signature-based detection. Zero-day attacks. These attacks exploit vulnerabilities before a signature is available for the virus. Therefore, while virus signatures are crucial for detecting known viruses, they should be combined with other security measures, such as heuristic analysis and behavioral detection, to provide comprehensive protection against malware threats. Question number 14. Which type of malicious code is designed to display unwanted advertisements and collect personal information? A. Worm. B. Spyware. C. Trojan horse. D. Adware. The answer is D. Adware. Why the other options are incorrect. Worm. While a worm can spread rapidly through networks, its primary goal is self-replication, not displaying ads or collecting personal information. Spyware. Spyware stealthily gathers personal information without consent, but it doesn't typically display intrusive ads. Trojan horse. Trojan horses disguise themselves as legitimate programs to gain access to systems, but their malicious payloads can vary and don't always involve ads or data collection. Adware, on the other hand, is specifically designed to display unwanted advertisements. It bombards users with pop-ups, banners, or other intrusive ads, often within web browsers or software applications. Collect personal information. It tracks user behavior, browsing history, search queries, and other personal data, often without explicit consent. Generate revenue for its creators. The collected data is often sold to advertisers or used for targeted marketing campaigns. Common signs of adware infection: excessive pop-up ads, a sudden increase in intrusive ads, even when not browsing the web, unwanted toolbars or extensions, new toolbars or browser extensions that you didn't install, changes to browser settings, unexpected changes to your homepage, search engine, or default settings. Slow computer performance. Adware can consume system resources, leading to slower performance. Protecting yourself from adware. Install a reputable antivirus or anti-malware program. Keep it updated to detect and remove adware. Be cautious when downloading software. Only download from trusted sources and read installation agreements carefully. Avoid clicking on suspicious links or ads. These can lead to adware downloads. Keep your browser and software updated. Patches often address vulnerabilities that adware can exploit. Use ad blocking software. It can block many types of ads, including those generated by adware. Question number 15. What is a key characteristic of a worm? A. Requires user interaction for spreading. B. Attaches to executable files. C. Self-replicates and spreads independently. D. Encrypts user files. The answer is C. Self-replicates and spreads independently. Here's why the other options are incorrect. A. Requires user interaction for spreading. This is a characteristic of viruses, not worms. Worms can proactively spread without any user action. B. Attaches to executable files. This is also more typical of viruses. Worms often exploit vulnerabilities in networks or systems to replicate and spread. D. Encrypts user files. This behavior is associated with ransomware, which is a different type of malware. Key characteristics of worms that distinguish them from other malware. Self-replication. They have the ability to create copies of themselves, enabling them to spread rapidly without external assistance. Independent propagation. They can spread across networks and systems without requiring user interaction, often exploiting vulnerabilities or using social engineering tactics. Network-centric. They primarily target network vulnerabilities and resources to propagate, often scanning for vulnerable systems and exploiting weaknesses in protocols or services. No attachment dependency. They don't typically rely on attaching themselves to existing files like viruses do. They can spread through various means, such as email attachments, file-sharing networks, or direct network connections. Examples of notorious worms. Morris worm, one of the earliest internet worms, released in 1988, which exploited vulnerabilities in Unix systems to spread rapidly. I Love You worm, a mass mailing worm that spread through email attachments in 2000, causing widespread damage and data loss. Conficker worm, a highly sophisticated worm that emerged in 2008, targeting Windows systems and exploiting multiple vulnerabilities to spread and create botnets. WannaCry ransomware, a worm-like ransomware that spread rapidly in 2017, encrypting user files and demanding ransom payments. Question number 16. How does ransomware typically impact a system? A. Steals sensitive information. B. Modifies system settings. C. Encrypts files and demands payment. D. Records keystrokes. The answer is C. Encrypts files and demands payment. Here's how ransomware typically impacts a system. Infection. The ransomware infiltrates the system through various means, such as phishing emails, malicious websites, or software vulnerabilities. Encryption. Once inside, it rapidly encrypts important files such as documents, photos, videos, databases, and financial records, rendering them inaccessible. Ransom demand. A ransom note is displayed on the screen demanding payment, usually in cryptocurrency, in exchange for the decryption key to unlock the files. Payment deadline. A deadline is often set, threatening to delete the files or make them permanently inaccessible if the ransom is not paid within the time frame. Impact. Ransomware attacks can have devastating consequences, including data loss or corruption, financial losses due to ransom payments, business disruptions and downtime, reputational damage, legal and compliance issues. The other options are incorrect because stealing sensitive information. A. While some ransomware variants may also steal data, their primary goal is to extort money through file encryption. Modifying system settings. B. Ransomware typically focuses on encrypting files, not altering system settings. Recording keystrokes. D. This is a characteristic of spyware, not ransomware. Question number 17. What is the primary purpose of a rootkit? A. Deleting files. B. Concealing malicious activity. C. Intercepting network traffic. D. Spoofing IP addresses. The answer is B. Concealing malicious activity. Here's a more detailed explanation. Rootkits are stealthy malware designed to gain unauthorized, deep-level access to a computer system and hide their presence from detection. Their primary purpose is to mask the existence of other malware. They act as a cloaking device, enabling other malicious programs to operate undetected on the system. Maintain persistent control. They establish a persistent backdoor for attackers to access and control the system remotely. Evade security measures. They often hook into the operating system's core functions, making them difficult to detect and remove using traditional antivirus software. Here's how they achieve this. Modifying system files. They alter critical system files to hide themselves, other malware, and their activities. Hooking into system processes. They intercept and redirect system calls, allowing them to intercept data and control system behavior. Disabling security software. They sometimes disable or block antivirus and security software to prevent detection. Image to illustrate rootkit concealment. Key characteristics of rootkits. Stealth. They are designed to operate invisibly, often without any visible symptoms. Persistence. They can remain active even after system reboots and attempts to remove them. Privileged access. They often gain root-level access, giving them complete control over the system. Common types of rootkits. Kernel-level rootkits. Embed themselves in the operating system. Kernel, the core of the system. Bootkit rootkits. Infect the boot sector of the hard drive, loading themselves before the operating system starts. User mode rootkits. Run as normal applications but use techniques to hide their presence from the user. Protecting yourself from rootkits. Use reputable antivirus and anti-malware software. Keep it updated and run regular scans. Be cautious about downloading software. Only download from trusted sources. Keep your operating system and software up to date. Patches often address vulnerabilities that rootkits can exploit. Use a firewall. Block unauthorized access to your system. Monitor system activity. Look for unusual behavior or signs of infection. Question number 18. Which type of malicious code is designed to capture and transmit sensitive information, such as login credentials? A. Adware. B. Spyware. C. Ransomware. D. Logic bomb. The answer is B. Spyware. Here's a breakdown of why the other options are incorrect. Adware. While adware can be intrusive and collect certain information, its primary goal is to display unwanted advertisements, not steal sensitive data. Ransomware. Ransomware focuses on encrypting files and demanding payment for their release, not specifically on capturing sensitive information. Logic bomb. A logic bomb is a type of malware that activates when certain conditions are met, often causing damage or disruption. But it's not designed to steal data. Spyware, on the other hand, is specifically designed to operate stealthily. It often installs itself without the user's knowledge or consent, running in the background and remaining hidden. Collect sensitive information. It gathers a wide range of personal data, including keystrokes, passwords, credit card numbers, emails, browsing history, online activity, personal files, financial information. Transmit stolen data. It sends the collected information to third parties, often cybercriminals, who can use it for various malicious purposes. Image of a figure lurking in the shadows to illustrate spyware's stealth. Common methods used by spyware. Keyloggers. Capture keystrokes to steal passwords and other sensitive information typed on the keyboard. Screen recorders. Capture screenshots or record videos of user activity. Tracking cookies. Monitor online activity and browsing habits. Browser hijackers. Modify browser settings to redirect users to malicious websites or display unwanted ads. Protecting yourself from spyware. Install reputable antivirus and anti-spyware software. Keep it updated and run regular scans. Be cautious about downloading software. Only download from trusted sources. Avoid clicking on suspicious links or attachments. These can lead to spyware downloads. Keep your operating system and software up to date. Patches often address vulnerabilities that spyware can exploit. Be mindful of what you share online. Don't overshare personal information, especially on social media. Use strong passwords and change them regularly. Make them complex and unique for each account. Enable two-factor authentication. Add an extra layer of security to your accounts. Question number 19. What is a buffer overflow attack? A. Exploiting vulnerabilities in a system's firewall. B. Overloading a program's memory to execute arbitrary code. C. Gaining unauthorized access to a network. D. Disrupting communication between devices. The answer is B. Overloading a program's memory to execute arbitrary code. Here's a more detailed explanation. Incorporating imagery. Buffer overflow attacks exploit a flaw in how programs handle data in memory. They involve sending more data to a program than it can safely handle, causing it to overflow the allocated memory buffer and overwrite adjacent memory regions. This can allow attackers to key steps in a buffer overflow attack. Finding a vulnerable program. Attackers identify a program with a buffer overflow vulnerability, often in commonly used software. Crafting malicious input. They carefully construct input data that exceeds the buffer's capacity, designed to overwrite specific memory locations, triggering the overflow. They send this input to the program, causing the buffer to overflow. Overwriting memory. The excess data overwrites adjacent memory, potentially including program instructions or data. Injecting malicious code. If the attacker can overwrite specific memory locations, they can inject their own malicious code into the program's memory. Executing the code. When the program continues running, it now executes the attacker's code, allowing them to take control of the system. Potential consequences of buffer overflow attacks. System crashes. The program may crash due to memory corruption, data theft. Attackers can steal sensitive data from the system. Unauthorized access. They can gain control of the system and execute arbitrary code. Installing malware. They can install malware such as backdoors or ransomware. Protecting against buffer overflow attacks. Software updates. Install security patches that address buffer overflow vulnerabilities. Input validation. Ensure programs validate all input to prevent overflows. Memory protections. Use security features like stack canaries and address space layout randomization, ASLR. Firewalls. Block unauthorized access to vulnerable programs. Anti-malware software. Detect and block buffer overflow attacks. Question number 20. How can a computer user protect against phishing attacks? A. Keep antivirus software updated. B. Use strong and unique passwords. C. Avoid clicking on suspicious links in emails. D. Enable automatic software updates. The correct answer is C. Avoid clicking on suspicious links in emails. Here's why the other options don't directly address phishing attacks. A. Keep antivirus software updated. While antivirus software can help detect and block malware, it may not be able to identify all phishing attempts, especially those that rely on social engineering tactics. B. Use strong and unique passwords. This is crucial for preventing unauthorized access to accounts, but it doesn't directly protect against phishing attacks that try to steal your credentials through deceptive means. D. Enable automatic software updates. While keeping software updated is important for patching security vulnerabilities, it's not a specific defense against phishing attacks that often lure users into clicking malicious links or downloading infected files. Phishing attacks primarily rely on tricking users into clicking on malicious links or opening infected attachments. By avoiding clicking on suspicious links in emails, you can significantly reduce your risk of falling victim to a phishing attack. Here are some additional tips for protecting yourself from phishing attacks. Be cautious about unsolicited emails. Don't click on links or open attachments from unknown senders, even if they appear legitimate. Hover over links to see the actual destination. Before clicking on a link, hover your cursor over it to see the actual website address. If it doesn't look legitimate, don't click on it. Be wary of urgent messages. Phishing emails often use urgency or threats to pressure you into clicking on a link. If something feels too good to be true or too urgent, it probably is. Verify sender information. Check the sender's name and email address carefully. Look for misspellings or inconsistencies that could indicate a fake sender. Don't enter personal information in emails. Legitimate companies will not ask you for sensitive information via email. Use a spam filter. A spam filter can help to block some phishing emails from reaching your inbox. Report phishing attempts. If you receive a phishing email, report it to the sender's email provider and to the Federal Trade Commission, FTC. Please like, share for friends. Subscribe this YouTube channel.